Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. You're watching In Deep on the Delta. This is the weekly Delta fishing report for the week of September 29th. We're going to get right into it. But before we do, I want to just say a few words about hopefully some changes I will be able to make for the report and some of my videos. I want to shorten them up and make them a little more precise. So what I'd like you guys to do that are out there watching, two things. I know you're all subscribed. But I'd like you to send in a comment and let me know if these things are too long, if you want them under 5 minutes, under 10 minutes, if you don't care, if you want them 30 minutes, if you want me to shut up and just tell you the basics, that's fine too. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But I would like some input so I can really tailor the report to you guys that are watching. You guys are my base audience out there, and I want to make sure that this report has meaning for you and it's going to help you on the weekend. So please send me some information on what you'd like to see, anything different. Today I've got my friend Coach Ted out here. He's going to put his 2 cents in. And from time to time I've been having a few of the local guys. If you want to see more local guys and hear what they're doing out here, let me know if you like that. If you don't, well, I'm on your boat today, so I can't tell you to get off right now. But we'll tailor it so it's for you guys. So thank you guys for watching, and you will be seeing some changes on my videos, the way that I do them. I'm working with a couple of people, and I just hit 6,000 subscribers, by the way. So I'm getting to the point where I either better some get off the pot or whatever, but I'm going to try to upgrade what I'm doing here. And so I'm supposed to ask you now, if you like what you're seeing, if you're getting if you're getting something out of this report, please hit the like button. That, I guess, goes a long way in the algorithm. So let's get right into the report. We'll start with river conditions. And the water visibility has been a little bit all over the board. I fished up north, up off the McCollum, up Beaver, Sycamore up there, and what I found was about 8 feet of visibility. You've been here on the Central Delta. You're looking at what?
3-4 feet.
3-4 feet. And I've got reports the guys from down south are even getting 2 feet of visibility. So depending on where you are, the visibility is going to change a little bit. But I have found when I'm up north, the fish are harder to catch in that water that's super clear. You're down here. Are you looking for water clarity? Has that played a part in your fishing?
Yeah, it hasn't had a lot of impact. Okay. In fact, we prefer it not to be so clear. Right,
and that's what I want to say. The easier fish to catch are in the little more stained water. We'll let this guy go by here. That's okay. It's not gonna bother the report. We're not upgrading the video quality just yet. We're gonna let that boat go by. So look for a little bit of the stained water. Temperatures out here are about 70 to 72 degrees. They haven't really risen. I don't think they're going to rise. No. I think they'll stay right around that 70 degree mark until we start getting some cooler nights, and then it will drop. I don't see the water temperature going up.
No, we're done with that.
So we have pretty stable conditions. We are going to have stable weather conditions the next week, but the one thing that I don't like is we just went through a really nice moon phase, and last week we had very good tidal coefficients, but the fishing just really, quite frankly, it wasn't what I expected it to be. You had good fishing, and there was a few guys that did have good fishing. We're going to talk about that, how the guys that had really decent fishing, it wasn't steady throughout the day. It's bang, 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 periods of nothing, bang, 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 so on and so forth. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. But the fishing wasn't that great, and the tidal coefficients we have coming up for this week are not great. I'm not looking forward to this next week. My next big prediction is going to be around the full moon, around the 7th of October, and we're going to get some better tidal coefficients. Maybe if the water temperature drops, maybe that will really kick in the fall bite. But as of right now, last week was pretty tough for most people. We'll go over one of the local tournaments just a little bit, and then we'll get into talking about what the common folk have been doing out here. And that's another thing, Ted and I were talking about. It doesn't matter what Kenny Ma is doing, or Rip and Lips Williams out here. They've been catching fish in a bathtub, and if you're trying to replicate what they're doing, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
So, it's great, and I give those guys all the credit in the world for just, being not the best sticks on, they're not the best sticks on the Delta locally. They are the best sticks on the Delta nationally.
Yeah.
Don't try to compete against those guys. You're going to go home mad. So, let's talk about stripers. They're starting to move into the system. You guys have been asking about stripers, and I listen to what you guys are telling me in the reports. We will focus more on stripers as they come into the system. Right now, they're just starting to move in. Alan Fong was saying that a lot of the bigger stripers out around Pittsburgh, they're coming in. They're on the Sacramento. Ted, you've been catching stripers around Frank's Track.
Incidentally, yeah, we've spent a lot of time up around Fisherman's Cut in Frank's Track.
And you've seen some big ones.
We've seen some big ones.
Yeah.
We've caught some incidentally, but we've seen some 30-inch plus stripers following up some of the other fish that we've hooked. They're coming.
And I've caught a lot of smaller stripers in the last couple of weeks too. So they're coming in. When they get in here, we'll talk more and more about the stripers. But for today, we're going to be focusing on the largemouth bass. And we'll start off with last week's tournament. It was the Ram Invitational, the Anglers Press. Very small turnout, 35 boats. And let's see, Christian Oshlander, another big stick out here, won with about 44 pounds. Ken Ma and his partner, and it was a team tournament. Sorry, guys, I don't know your teammates' names, but Ken Ma was second, and I think Oda B. Williams was third. Yeah, I could have, I wish they had a line on that. I could have bet on that. But the bottom line is the guy that Christian had, I think, 44 pounds. You drop down to 10, which was cashing a check. They dropped down to 17 pounds. Quite a difference there. And the guys that were around the middle of the pack and down below, they had real tough time. So take that into consideration if you're trying to judge what you've been doing against what they have been doing. Yeah, a couple guys won it with good weights, but all in all, it was very tough fishing. And that was the word that I got through all of the reports. Some guys caught fish if they were in the right place at the right time, but most people saw a decline in the numbers of fish and also the size. The one thing that I can say that is a trend happening is they are hitting faster moving baits, crankbaits, chatterbaits. Ted, you're going to talk about some square bills and what you've been fishing, because it's just starting, and you have to think about that, because it's starting now, but maybe by next week, the week after, it could be in full season, or full chatterbait season, or full crankbait season. So I want to just give you that heads up. If you want to catch the big fish, you can still punch. I know I didn't talk to any of the guys that fished that last tournament, but I know they're all into punching. They're not catching a lot of fish. If you're out here to have fun and you want to get your, have a good day and get some numbers of fish, I think you need to start going with a little faster moving baits. And I'm going to let Ted slip in right now, because you have been throwing mostly shad colors, and you're throwing lipless and mostly square bill. So let them know what you've been doing to catch your fish.
Yeah, a lot of natural color baits. That's what we've gone to.
What is this one here?
That one, I think, that's a big papa, isn't it?
I think that might be the one.
I think that's a big papa. I throw a whole variety across the board, but we're talking about these big sticks on the Delta, and I'm kind of a hybrid, right? Days by myself on the river, I'll go out and I'll do a lot of punching, and I'm looking for big fish. But I do a lot of fishing. I take people out, firefighters, police officers, a lot of younger people, and when I take them, I want them to catch a lot of fish.
So just get discouraged punching all day.
Yeah, and not everybody's good at it. So the last couple of weeks we've been doing a lot of moving bait fishing, because it's moving into fall and these fish are starting to feed aggressively. And we had a lot of days last week where we caught 30-40 fish on square bills, on rattle traps. I mean, everything that is moving and aggressive. And of course, when you're fishing through 40 fish in a day, we might catch 2 or 3 or 4 fish over 5 pounds, and we'll catch 8 or 10 in the 2 to 3 or 4 pound class, but we'll catch 30 in the 1 pound class, right?
And that's a good day.
But it's fun. You can go out there and you can't replicate a Ken Ma or a Kevin Van Dam, but I can tell you, you can replicate a Ted, because we're average fishermen that love to fish, and we fish this delta, but we're catching all of our fish, around ambush points. We're identifying where fish are going to sit, and they're going to ambush bait fish, and we're throwing We're throwing these square bills around tule points, around moving raw water, along riprap banks that have some type of, whether it's pipe, whether it's old docks, but something where water is flowing by these things, and these fish are sitting and ambushing. And if you don't fish a ton of unproductive water, if you start to identify those points that look like they hold fish, and you fish them with fast moving baits, you can do like we're going to do today, and you just keep moving. Right? You keep moving, you keep chucking, you keep winding, and you can put together a day where you can catch a lot of fish, and there's going to be some nice ones in there.
And so that's what Ted's doing in a nutshell. And like I said, for you guys that are coming out next week, my suggestions would be look for the stained water, maybe from 3 to 5 feet visibility. You get more than 5, 6, 7, 8 feet of visibility, I would move to another spot. Stick with your shad type colors. I'm not saying to put all the crayfish and bluegill colors down, but they're starting to wean over, and you can fish faster now and have some fun. So I know I fish with Ted a lot, and when he's talking about having 40 and 50 fish days, that doesn't mean he catches one fish every 10 minutes. It means you may hit one of these points where you can catch 6, 7, 8 fish in 5 minutes, and you may go 45 minutes without a bite, place to place to place. So just keep that in mind. And with that, I'd just like to say thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit the like button if you like having Ted with me. Let me know if you like having folks like Ted come and give their story, because again, I want to tailor this to your needs. So with that, I hope you guys catch some fish next week. I think it's going to be pretty standard flow. It's pretty flat even. We're not going to have good tidal coefficients. The 7th of October, we have a full moon, and there's going to be some major tides coming through. That could be the start of fall fishing, and maybe these big stripers will come in, and we'll have a lot to talk about. So Ted, thanks so much for giving us your 2 cents.
Pleasure.
And I know just with the information that you've given here, if somebody wants to go out and put one of these on and just run the banks, be smart, be efficient, but be persistent, and you can force feed fish right now. So guys, we'll see you guys next week, and hopefully we'll see you on the water before then. Thanks for watching.